everyone. I'm Ting Zhang. I'm gonna showcase EgoReason for this video Cosmos cook-off. So EgoReason is a Cosmos Reason 2B model fine-tuned for the EgoNormia dataset. Its purpose is to make sure that the model is having socially grounded reasoning for the next action coming based on the egocentric video. So the problem and use case is that physical AI needs a robot brain that chose the right next action in a shared human space, not just a model that captures what it sees. And EgoNormia dataset turns that robot brain problem into a norm-aware next action decision making from egocentric video. So the task is not object recognition alone. It is doing visual grounding and also making the most appropriate action adhere to privacy, politeness, coordination, and cooperation. So the target use cases like home assistants, office helpers, and any other embodied agent operating around the people, such as like a humanoid robot. So a bit of heads up on EgoNormia datasets. EgoNormia datasets is the first person social norm benchmark built from Ego4D style, egocentric videos, and really through Hugging Face through an official benchmark repo. And the official release does not ship a public test split, so this repos construct benchmark using a verified 200 example subset and then fixed test, and then as a fixed test, and then the rest of the examples are training set. So each example asks for the next socially appropriate action across 7 multi-label norm categories. And the paper Appendix J reports that the concatenated frame strips work better than native video or discrete frames. So why this kind of fine-tuning fits on physical AI? Because it sits directly on the robot brain. The perception constant and then model reason over the first person contact, and the output is the next action to take. The input is egocentric observation, and output is action selection, justification, and sensible alternatives, which matches an embodied decision loop better than static VQA or captioning. So the section is measured by whether the chosen action is socially appropriate and operationally sensible, not just whether the scene was recognized correctly. This makes a physical AI problem about acting in a world near humans, where mistakes are often social or behavior before they're purely geometric. So in terms of the Cosmos 2 integration, we have Cosmos Reason 2B as our core multimodal reasoning model in the loop, not a presentation wrapper. We fine-tuned the 2B model family on EgoNormia to map the visual context, to map video context and prompts to action choice, justification, and sensibility. The same model family is evaluated on zero shot, and also after MCQ-SFT and after short COT that try to preserve the syncing capability from the original Cosmos Reason 2 model. And then also we also try to make sure that the model is also doing great open-ended generation. So we also add some generation-oriented variants. So in terms of data and training pipeline, so as I mentioned before, the dataset has been split into 1.6K training example and 200 test example from EgoNormia benchmark. And training progress from MCQ-only supervision to short COT guidance for the MCQ, and also short COT for the open-ended generation. And we measure whether or not the generated result are aligning to the ground truth choice using LLM as a judge from Gemini 3.1 Pro, and then also we use the other blue score to measure the closeness from the answer to the ground truth options. So so all the key artifacts, nodes, and datasets are exported to Drive for reproducibility. And here are some key results. So zero shot, Cosmos Reason 2B Starts at 58.5% action accuracy and 51% for both accuracy. So here, both accuracy means the accuracy for action and also the accuracy for justification. And also, we're having a 0.516 sensibility IOU. In terms of sensibility, it's more like selecting multiple sensible action output from the existing MCQ. And in our version 3 MCQ-only SFT, we we have a huge performance gain where we jump directly to 79.5% on action accuracy and 77% on both. So plain supervisor tuning already gives a large gain. And V5 short COD is the strongest benchmark checkpoint, using 82% action and 78.5 on both accuracy and a 0.634 on IOU. So we kind of shifted from V5 to V6 because V5 is doing quite poorly on open-ended generation, but that's actually really crucial for how we are going to use it for visual grounding first. So without a better visual grounding from the model, the model can't basically just aligning to the action based on an empirical choice, which is like not what we want. So that's why we add another 3 examples on open-ended generation in the V6 test. So V6B is without thinking, trace the benchmark score for open-ended quality. So it attained 78.5% accuracy on action and 17.5% on both accuracy, which is like the average between action accuracy and the justification accuracy. But the best, but it gives the best of 0.645 sensibility, which it's also making sense because the V6 has a better visual grounding compared to V5. So what does the result mean? So for a leaderboard style MCQ evaluation, short COD is the sweet spot. It improves the overall plain SFT without any instability of long glue reasoning. For deployment style generation, V6B nothing matters because multiple choice question score is not the whole story. It produced the strongest open-ended behavior in the repo snapshot. And we have another V7 and V7B, which is our attempt on long COT. So for long COT on 2B model, show a clear failure. Long glued COT can recover some action accuracy, but it hurts the overall robustness, formatting, and justification stability. And that results that Cosmos Reason 2 is not just trainable on this test. It reaches a useful frontier where we can choose between benchmark maximizing and behavior maximizing checkpoints. So, versions lesson in 1 page. So V2 was not carried forward as the main baseline because it changed too many variables at once and it had a format collapse on accessibility. Action improved, but SIOU was unmeasurable at 0.0 due to integer-only output, and also V2 is only trained on the video, trained on the during video, which is the video that captured the actual actions when it's actually happening. So to be better to predict a specific action, we should use the previous video, which is the chunk of video where that happened before the actual action happened. So that's why we have a V3, and then V3 becomes a real baseline because it has a fixed multitask. One for action, one for justification, one for sensibility, and it stayed robust, but it still had a weak privacy and politeness coverage and very generic open-ended behavior. And V4, we try to, and also there one drawback from V3 is that V3 degenerated on the syncing token generation. So even with the the appearing thinking prompt inside the system prompt, we will not generate any syncing trace out of the model. So it clearly shows such kind of SFT hurts the original syncing capability of Cosmos Reason 2. And V4, so in return, we think that it's definitely the time for adding a COT to make sure that we have syncing capability back. So V4 improved top line action and both accuracy, but robustness broke badly under option shuffle. So the COT, this is more like a data preparation problem where COT actually embedded the positional biases into the syncing trace, which misleading the model towards a certain high region selection in MCQ. And so when we actually shuffle the MCQ choices, the performance dropped significantly. And V5 short COT fixed most of V4's problem at the same time. Shuffle is not a problem anymore. But we did not use it as a final demo model because its structure open-ended eval drops to roughly V3 level category accuracy, about 1.5/7. Sync mode amplifies obedience or training bias, and the overall best deployment checkpoint is V6B. The V6 V6B S160 on a no sync version. And V6 basically generation test too early. Open-ended intent improved, but parse and justification stability become much worse, and best both accuracy stalled at 66.5%. V6 beta fixed most V6 formatting class and become the best deployment line, but no sync still missed the MCQ gate at 70.5%, and its outputs could split between fetch and leash or safety narratives. V7 glued it full 6 is basically it has means it has a long single COT, but also it has a long scene under the depiction before the actual option was getting selected. So the glued long COT did not help the benchmark performance. It matched V6B at 70.5% at both accuracy, but it hurts on sensibility IOU to 0.538. Failed the machine mainline gate and sometimes hallucinated scene details. V7B recovers some stability and category coverage, but longer COT still pull reasoning toward safety, privacy, and proxemic frames. It was a cleaner analysis checkpoint than V7, but not a better final deploy model than V6B. So what the demo is going to show is an egocentric clip, the system problem, and the model's next action choice before versus after checkpoint comparison to show what fine-tuning change, and no sync deployment style output plus the failure case to show remaining gaps. So I'm going to show 7 EgoNormia category examples, 7 before and 7 afters, where Cosmos Reason 2 zero-shot baseline is weaker, and V6B syncing step 160 gets the same right. And each slide shows previous and enduring frames, the original prompt, the ground truth answer, and side-by-side answer cards for zero-shot and fine-tuned V6B. So here's the safety. In this case, we can see as a basketball scene, and the original question is about chose the most normative, irrelevant, or appropriate action to perform next. So we have, for example, over here, the ground truth is shooting the hood, practicing free throws and jump shots, zero shots, and V6B doing also correct. And privacy, I think also correct. And proxemics is this is where ground truth okay, but zero shot definitely give a fall response where It's more like a tattoo scenario, and then original questions like chosen. The ground truth is to hold still and allow the person to complete the design. But on the fourth option, saying that gently hold their child's hands steady during the application, which totally misunderstand the scene. And on the other hand, we have our V6B thinking step 160, hold still and allow person to complete, which is aligned toward to the ground truth. And also in this case, politeness, where chose the single most normally relevant action in such kind of like shop buying scene, and the ground truth is to take the ice cream cone and thank the person, but zero shot is like offered a sample directly to the person and explain what it is, which is not what people usually do in the general scene, and our V6P doing it way better. And then cooperation, where well, this case is an attend, ground truth is to offer to help the person arrange their sleeping bag. On zero shot, it's just like adjusting the person's blanket. Well, it's somewhat close, but like but in terms of collaboration, you try to you try to give an action for the robot to have a better cooperative language first before the action actually get performed. And coordination and productivity, I think in this case, 3 models are doing great. And then communication and legibility. So here the examples like in a shopping scene where the correct answer is to pick up a pair of jeans and show them to the person for their opinion. But the zero shot perform on selecting the answer 3, basically select a pair of trousers, which is also making sense. But it's in terms of communication legibility, it's more about cooperating. I think this is more like a data set in a problem, not the model capability. So yeah, so in terms of why this project really become great, is because it boosts the performance from all the way from 58 into 82, and then even after open generation degeneration, it still has a at least 70% accuracy. So it's actually doing fairly great. Yeah, here are some experimental figures. V3 actions accuracy. You can see on training step 2.10. It has 21.5% of performance increase on MCQ. And there's every single category, as you can see, it's just doing better job on at the end. And then in the front is in terms of average, it's not doing that great. Okay, V3 both accuracy, yeah, later checkpoint, and then yeah, we think V5 think and no think. This is like a benchmark strong MCQ, but the structure generation story is much weaker than its leaderboard score suggests. And V6 be in thinking and no thinking. V6B no thinking is a stronger deployment style checkpoint because it's also great on MCQ and the open-ended generation. Think mode, I think overall generally hurts from zero shot baseline across all different kind of version of SFT. And V7B longer COT do not automatically help. V7B take out all the open-ended generation. It only train on MCQ with COT. But it also exposes a drift, because normally if Cosmos reason generated a syncing trace, they would use that syncing trace as a guidance for the final answer generation. And longer COT for a small model might hurt the performance significantly. Cool, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, reasoning drift, and then across version, longer or misaligned COT tends to increase the plausible sounding off-target reasoning. Yeah, future work, gonna combine on V8, gonna combine V7B's stronger MCQ reasoning trace with V6B's cleaner open-ended behavior, and also V9 we might try GRPO, which is RFT, reinforcement fine-tuning to improving reasoning quality at inferencing time instead of relying on teacher forcing long COT supervision. So these are the next planned research stage, not part of the current benchmark claims in the SAF. And yeah, that's pretty much all.